a long distance relationship since February 14th, 2014. And I thought, since I've been going on about 4 years strong, that it's about time I made a top 5 things to do in an online relationship. So instead of holding you here, eagerly awaiting for my list of top 5 activities, I'm just gonna get straight into the video. The first thing I'd like to mention as my number 1 is called the question game. Now, the question game is something that I made up when I was originally kind of in my earlier stages with Oliver. He and I don't much do it anymore, but when we didn't know each other very well, it was something that was quick and easy and simple and fun that would keep us talking for hours, just figuring out who we are and what we like to do and whatnot. And it's a way we got to know each other in such a fun, creative way that we didn't get bored with each other as quickly. We ended up usually talking sometimes up to 6 hours on Skype, just playing the question game over and over and over again. And it was just a simple back and forth. I asked a question, then he asked a question, and I asked a question, and he asked a question. Or we sometimes would double up, or we do like, a pass and play where, if there's a question you don't like, then I get to ask another question, and so on and so forth. It's quite simple. It's like maintaining a normal conversation, but the question game is a great way to start to get to know each other, especially if you haven't been dating for long. Some fun questions that might spike your interest is like, what if you were in a zombie apocalypse? What would you grab and why? And something simple like that, even though it's fun and kind of ridiculous, it's a way to start a conversation and share interests. Or what if you had a superpower? Or what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? Who's your celebrity crush? Now, I know that one might ping on the heartstrings, but it's something to talk about, and it's a way to get to know each other very easily and very quickly, and it makes things entertaining. So number 2 on my list is mobile games. Now, that seems kind of straightforward, but again, mobile games is something that you may not think about when you are texting or talking. You're just like, oh, I'm so bored. Mobile games is just a simple way of connecting with each other, whether at the same time or different times, and you can interact with each other over Wi-Fi and do moves and such. Like, for instance, Clash of Clans is a good game you might be able to play together, or even Candy Crush, or even Best Fiends, because you could do different high scores and try to beat each other. Or you can even do, what I like to do is Facebook Messenger, because they oftentimes, it's, my main source of messaging, Oliver. But it's like this big platform full of like different kind of indie games, or they oftentimes have just different testers, and it's just like small mobile games that are just kind of fun and quirky, and usually you could compete for a high score. And it's just these weird games that you wouldn't think of. But since it's on Facebook and everything's already connected and everything's together, it's an easy way of accessing each other and playing at different routes. Even Scrabble on, kind of on Facebook is another way of easily accessing each other. And it's just a fun way of like simply gaming in a simple, cute way that's enough apart, but you can connect easily together, and it's something to do. So going down the rabbit hole of gaming, Steam is my 3rd thing on my list. Now, Steam is a online it's a PC platform it's almost like a big file where you can buy games, purchase games, and play it all in the same place. It's a free download, but you do have to buy the games, obviously. But it's a great way of finding common interest and pulling different things. Now, I know not everyone's a gamer, but I did meet my boyfriend on Minecraft, and I've just been kind of playing games for the longest while, and so it's something I like to do. Even single-player games is something you could do in a long-distance relationship, because you could compare and talk about your stats and your story and what's going on, whatever. Like Stardew Valley is one of my favorite games, and it's completely single-player. But I do spend a lot of time talking about how much money I'm bringing in about my farm and whatnot. So another game is Civilizations 5, which is a strategy game, and it's a long out, stretched out game, but it's another one of my favorites, and Oliver's kind of introduced me to it. And it's just, you play as different civilizations, you're trying to conquer the world, or you can make peace with the world, and it's a long, stretched out game, much like a board game, but it's a way of doing it online, and it's very easily multiplayer. So the 4th thing on my list is reading. Reading a novel together is something that I think would be fantastic. I haven't tried it yet, but it's something I want to soon, but it's just because we've been so busy with school that we actually haven't had the time to sit down and discuss novels or even pick a book to read together. He and I kind of have different pacing, but if you can find a novel that you would both enjoy reading English literature or any other literature that you're choosing is something that's so fundamental in the human reading brings out a lot. It brings a lot of thought and meaning and discussion, and it's a way to kind of learn more about the world and discover more about yourself, and kind of almost taking a lot from novels and discussing them together would be something that would be so much fun, because of the fact that you could pace it on your own, and on top of that, you're kind of getting this bonding experience and being these two people to talk together. It's like book club. It's an interesting way of learning more about the world, but at the same time, the same pacing. If you need some novel suggestions, I'm really into classic literature, but you may not be. Some good novels is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Another great novel that I want to read is Pride and Prejudice, and I probably will try to convince Oliver to read that with me. And if you're not so much into kind of a classic, if you're a little bit younger, what something might be great is Percy Jackson's series or Harry Potter of the sort, which is something that is kind of classic in fantasy and fiction and whatnot, and it's a great start, especially if you aren't that much of an avid reader. So the fifth and final thing on my list is pretty cliche, but it's Netflix and Skype. Not the chill stuff, like the Skype stuff. Anyways, Netflix and watching a TV series together, much like reading a book, is a great way to become addicted and kind of do your own pacing. Now, the one thing I've come across, because I'm an international online relationship, is oftentimes Netflix doesn't have the same things for Danish people as they do Americans, and different countries just kind of always have like difficulty like having the same media on the same platform. And I've kind of found like a list online of movies that are shared, but it's so difficult to find and pull. So if you're kind of international, it's a little bit harder to do, but if you can manage to find a good movie that is shared on both platforms, using Netflix as a resource to hang out and chill and watch a movie for a good movie night is always fantastic. So with that, that makes the video. If you've watched this far, thanks so much for listening to me talk about long distance relationships and things to do. Anyways, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and smash that like button if you like this video. My name is Abby, and I hope you have a fantastic day.